If you watched previous video, you now know how to write basic dial plans in Asterisk, define phone numbers and call them. In this video we will call our mobile phone using Asterisk. Actually, you will be able to call any real phone number. To make such calls, I mean the calls to traditional phone numbers, you will need a voice over IP provider. This is like your internet provider, but for making phone calls. And there are many of them, almost in each country. And this is a huge plus. Because you see, you can find a provider that gives you the best price for your calls. What I mean is, for example, you live in Australia, and sometimes you need to call another side of the world, a city in Europe. So you can find a VoIP provider in this country that has very cheap calls for this destination, maybe even make calls for free, no kidding. But no need for such a big scale. Even in the same country you can save money calling another city. That's what I did. I found a provider that gives me free calls to the city I need, actually 2 cities. And the best part is that you can find as many providers as you need for as many destinations you want. Connect them all to Asterisk and be able to call anywhere for a small amount of money. To tell quickly about prices. SIP calls are usually free. Landline and mobile phones are much cheaper when you are calling to another city or country. Another way is that your provider offers a fixed month payment. Anyway, voice over IP will save you a lot of money when the calls are not local. So the first step for you is to find a provider that fits your needs. Just search for it. And when you find a VoIP provider, register at their website. The username and the password will be used to connect our Asterisk server to the provider. Finally, give your provider a little money, even if you are just testing your calls and they tell that gave you $2 on your account. I say this because the usage of such free money is limited in many ways, and I had problems with it. For example, you can be limited on number of phone calls you can make without giving your real money. So, what we do now is we are connecting our provider to Asterisk, or better to say Asterisk to the provider. This is done in SIP-conf configuration file. Search for outbound SIP registrations. Here it is. Here you can see a line with a register and its parameters, but it's better to look at the example below. So copy it and paste here. When you registered on your provider's website, you got a username and a password. You need to use them in this command. Username, password. Instead of host, put a domain name of your provider. And I'll just remove callback extension for now. If you have problems on this step, know that providers usually tell on their website what information you should enter to connect to their server. Let's see what has changed. Reload the configuration and use this command SIP show registry to view SIP registration status. When Asterisk registers as a client to a SIP proxy, look at state. It's registered. Great, we are connected to our VoIP provider. But something is still missing. Let's go to the extensions. We still have only one number defined. First, I will correct it as I showed you. That's better, isn't it? You already know applications like answer, playback and hang up. Now let's see another one, dial. I'm writing an extension to call any number. And a dial command, it will call a device that we'll describe in a minute. SIP is just a type of the call. Usually you will have SIP. And then I have SIPnet. Well, it is my voice over IP provider, but what's more important, it is a device that we will describe in SIP-conf. Yes, it doesn't matter for Asterisk whether a phone or provider is connected to it. Anything is just another device for it. So instead of SIPnet, you might have your local phone name. And the last one is extend, written with this $sign and in curly brackets. This variable means an extension that is called. In simple words, a phone number that is called. That's how dial command is written. The last step is to add our provider to SIP-conf. Here I write this string SIPnet. We will use type peer, context my context, and can reinvite no. From domain, put a domain name of your provider, host the same. For some reason I added a couple more lines, register SIP and has SIP. And finally, write your username and password for your provider in these fields. Okay, we are done here. Reload Asterisk configs. Let's call our mobile phone now. And here it is. I can hear my phone is ringing. Now I will answer and make some noise. Okay, enough. We just made it. We have called any random mobile phone using the internet and our provider. Now let's just play a little bit. I will define a very short number, just one digit. And when I call this number, I want my soft phone to ring. So I write SIP ikigaphone. Now I'm reloading configs and calling from another phone. You can accept the call and it's working. But if you miss the call and try to recall, nothing happens. Why? Because we miss a hard phone number in our extensions. Let's write it. Now make a missed call. Try to recall. And it's working now. I pick up the phone and the connection is established. Now you can install Asterisk, connect phones to it, write extensions and make calls to real phones. I think it is time to know how to work with incoming calls in Asterisk. See it in the next video.